Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to try and make a radio ident using Logic. So the first thing we've got to do is find Logic. If you click on your Finder down there, you should get something like this. Click on your applications there, scroll down to find Logic Pro. Double click that and you should see it bouncing down there. Alright, so this takes a little while to launch and there's a thing that appears. Hopefully, in the meantime, you've recorded your audio using this, and I've taken the sound card out and put it into the card reader in the back of the machine. Let's close this one. Alright, so now we've got Logic open. We should be able to open a new file. If you get this to start with, select Empty Project and then select 4 audio tracks. Make sure it's selected to audio and not software instruments. That's all fine. Create. Okay, let's save that as well before we do anything else. So File, Save As. So as a default, Logic will probably go into the Music folder and go to Logic. Okay, so I'm going to make this into Radio Ident 5. I've tried this a few times. So click New Folder. Create. Okay, and then give it a title. Alright. So next thing we've got to do is get our audio from our sound card into the correct folder. So if you click on your Finder, if you've got your sound card plugged in, you should be able to find it in here. You might have to browse through the folders to find the right one if other people haven't deleted their files off there. I've listened to these already, so I know that it's this one. But if you selected the columns view, you can preview them. BBC Radio 1. Okay. So that's the one that I want. So I'm going to copy that. On the keyboard I'm going to do Command C to copy that. Then I'll go to my folder that I've created and paste it into there. Command V. There we are. BBC Radio 1. Alright. Okay, it's quite important to have all your audio together so you don't lose it when you come to open your project up again. So if you put the playhead at the start of your track and select track number 1, you can go to File, Import Audio File, and then you can browse to find that file. So if you're in the offline section, Music, Logic, Radio Ident 5, and there it is. Open. So you can zoom in on that a little bit if you want, just so we can see what we've got. So these little sliders here are quite useful for that. So you can see there's a lot of nonsense at the start there, there's nothing happening. So if I hit the space bar to play, BBC Radio 1. So you can see the waveform there. This is the bit that we actually want. So if you hover over the end of your region, at the top it doesn't work, but if you scroll down past halfway, you get this little icon. That means you can drag the edge of the region, and the same at the back. You have to go right down to the bottom corner at the back. So now space bar to play. Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to leave that there on bar number 2. Quite happy with that. So now I'm going to put some audio effects on it so it doesn't sound quite so much like me being with my northern accent. Okay, so I've clicked in the top here to create a region for it to loop around. So if I now press space bar, it will play from there and play around. And if you've got this view, you should be able to see your channel here. So this is the level. You see that it's quite quiet down there? If you can't see that, you might have to go through the screen sets until you can see the one you want, or you can open the mixer. There's audio 1. Okay, but I've got this split screen thing going on, so I'll go with that. If you click on the inserts there, you can put a compressor on it to make it a bit louder. So if you go to Dynamics, and then Compressor, select a stereo compressor. just put vocal compressor number 1. If you click on the menu, the drop down menu there, scroll down, voice, vocal compressor 1. That'll do. So now let's see what we've got.
BBC Radio 1.
So already it's a little bit louder. It's going from
BBC Radio 1. BBC Radio 1.
We can make it a little bit louder still with the gain here. What we don't want to do is go past the top of this readout here.
BBC Radio 1. BBC Radio 1.
Okay. So I'm happy with that, but I still don't want it to sound quite like that, so I'm going to put some other stuff on it. Let's go for a guitar amp, see what we can do with that. Alright, so I'm going to go for... What do I want? Something distorted. Let's go for the first one, see what we get.
BBC Radio 1. BBC Radio 1.
Okay, so we've got a bit more distortion. I'm going to bring the gain down a little bit.
BBC Radio 1.
Alright. So I'm happy with that. The last thing I'm going to do is put a delay on it. So, again, scroll down, delay, tape delay I'm going to go for. Let's find the default. Ultra dub, that sounds good. So now it's because there's going to be a delay on there, we have to make our little region a bit bigger.
BBC Radio 1.
Okay, so now we've got a little bit delay on the end. But I actually don't want that delay to go on too long. So I might do something about that in a little while. So now we're going to put something on audio 2. To give it a bit of a sound effect. So select audio 2, click on your media link there, click on the loops. I want to find a little vinyl scratch to put on there. So your loops are all here, click on the arrow, let go and it brings this up. So vinyl, so there's some vinyl scratches here. You can preview them. I'm going to go for... Okay, that sounds like the sort of thing you would have in Radio 1. Okay. So I'm going to get that, drag that onto here. So this is what I've got now.
BBC Radio 1.
Alright. I might bring this to the left a little bit.
BBC Radio 1.
So I'm getting there. Right, now on the output I'm going to put a little bit of mastering on the output as well. So this should be your output here where it says, if it says bounce there or out 1 and 2 there, you can tell. If you put an insert into there, I'm going to put a little mastering EQ on there. Let's go for a multi-compressor. Let's find the default one. There you go, that sounds promising. So let's see what we've got now. I actually don't want that.
BBC Radio 1.
Okay, so I'm getting there. One last thing I want to do. Let's just squash that up a little bit. Maybe get rid of that. So the only problem I've got with this now is that towards the end, the echo goes on for ages.
BBC Radio 1.
So it just goes on for ages. So what I'm going to do is put a bit of track automation on there. So if I select the track I want to work on here, click on, what do I want to do? View. Okay, here we go. Track automation. You see you get a line here, so that's my volume. If you click on it, it will give you a little insert point. Click on it again, another insert point. So I'm just going to turn it down now. So if you watch it in here, it'll automatically turn down as it follows this line here. Okay. So that's pretty much it. So I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to output my final ident. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into the top region there to set the duration of the bounce that I want to create. I'm going to click bounce here. And it'll bring this dialog box up. I want to make an MP3. That'll do. So this is creating a, I'm going to put it in the correct folder. So okay, so okay, so giving it a title, bounce. Okay, so I think that's done it. Let's have a look and see if I can find the finished thing. Music, Logic, Radio Ident 5, Radio Ident 5, finished MP3. Alright, so here we go. Okay, that's alright.